7HYM, monitor.
Hear you loud and clear, Dave, WU7N.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Video Net, utilizing the 08 repeater for our voice segment of our net. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, held on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio operators that take to the airwaves with fast scan television. Transmit on 70 centimeters for our video. It's a crossband repeater, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. And the repeater is located up on Cougar Mountain. So starting the net this evening, take a short pause in case somebody needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway, or someone has emergency traffic. So we'll take a pause now for a few seconds. Hearing none, we'll take some check-ins. Already we have James, WU7N, and Ron, KD7QKU, is out of town this weekend up in Bellingham, and he will not be participating. Is there anybody else that would like to check in?
7QO. K7HYB.
And we got K7HYB and Jim, N7QO. With that, let's see if we can get going here with the net. Let's go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. Since I'm not transmitting a video signal, I want you to keep your video signal up so anybody watching on the internet will see something there. I've had a pretty exciting last couple of weeks, working with a great new group of people at Costco Corporation. So that's the hot news in my life. Had Saturday and Sunday off. And one thing I did notice tonight is I guess we're getting a new weather front blowing in that's supposed to get pretty breezy or perhaps even windy on Monday. So that's the news you can use for this pass around for me. This is James, WU7N. Let me turn it back to net.
Thanks for that, James. Yes, WU7N. Heard on television news on the weather report. Those winds could top 50 miles an hour locally, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Let's move down the line and go to Jim, N7QO.
Thank you, Dave, N7QO. Well, good evening, gentlemen. I am also not sending pictures tonight, although I did see a picture from Gary. Thank you, Gary. I think probably what I'm going to have to wind up doing is, at least for the short term, which I guess that's a relative thing, but probably communicate with Bob and right now I'm in the house where I have a good picture from my computer. Reset. But I can't transmit from here. If I go out to the shack where I can transmit a picture, I can't see as of yet. Probably what I should do is just break down and get a new router, but well, everything's just something else to do. So anyway, back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Thanks for that, Jim. N7QO, I know how you feel about that. There was a 3-year period when the repeater was located up on Capitol, in the Capitol Park building on Capitol Hill, and I couldn't get a signal through the dirt from Lake City up to that area. And it was voice only as far as I could see on the internet. And again, this is Dave, WW7ATS. This is the Western North Television broadcast. And my God, today it was just raining here in the Seattle area. We're running over to Seattle ATS meeting. And boy, the rain this morning really pelted down. I think we got about a third of an inch. And there's also on the weather report another quarter inch before the so here in Lake City right now, it's not raining. And outside of being overcast, certainly got a lot of leaves in the yard that need attending to. So once you see to deal with that when it warms up, dries out. However, this year I think I'm going to try something a little different with the leaves instead of compacting them and getting in the recycle bin. What I was reading from a nature standpoint is take the leaves and pile them up in your flower bed. There's a lot of good things that birds can feed on those leaves, as well as a lot of larvae on the leaves that will continue to grow and mature during the winter. Providing food also for bugs and for birds. And, the insects are kind of helpful to see what goes on in regard to the next coming year. So I think I'm going to try that this year. Well, with that, let's move up to the top of the list, but let's give one more call out. Is there anybody else who would like to join? Okay, let's go to James, WW7N.
Thank you, Dave. This is James, WW7N. Question I have for Jim around on this pass is what kind of new router do you need? Jim's garage overflows with such items, but I don't know. You might want to go out and get a brand new one if that's really what you need. If you just need something that acts as sort of like a outlet bar for data, might be able to help you out. The other find I have to share with people tonight is a website that I discovered that kind of made my homepage. It's kind of goofy, but amazingly handy. It's called RESTDesk.com. That's Romeo Echo Foxtrot -ESK.com. And it's got all sorts of useful links on it. You've got various news services, and one of the drop-down menus has atomic clock. And however they're doing that software, the synchronization through the internet, it's pretty darn good. It's very, very, very close to what you get over the air from WWB. And anybody who runs Windows 7 knows that their time that you date them on the box is usually about a second slow. Well, anyway, those are the two points I have for this round, and look forward to Jim's response to the router question next time he's up. This is the James, WU7N, back to next.
Okay, we're back to there, James, and I'm skipped by K7HYD. Gary wanted to sign on.
KG7CYM in the group, K7HYB. Let me turn every time I key the video transmitter here, I get I get feedback on the 440 side on all the radios that I've got here, and so I got to turn all the volume down. Anyway, good evening to all. I made contact a little earlier with James concerning this solid state TV set that I picked up for him, and hopefully we'll be able to connect together and he can come out and pick it up. That'll get him on the receive side again so we can see the picture. Fortunately, it was easy to get the channel on channel 8, so it's already set up. Without the remote, it will not switch, unfortunately, to the cable channels. It defaults to the regular over-the-air channels. So it will not receive 434 directly, unfortunately. Kind of a pain in the rear end. I've been trying to whether I can find a real one for it or not. But maybe and then also had a very busy day today. It was Veterans Day, and my wife and I and her girlfriend and her husband, we all went out to the Naval Exchange at Smoky Point with the idea that we were going to get a commemorative coin that they had for us. Well, it turned out when we got there, all the coins were gone. But Angel Lynn was having a free buffet for veterans. So Dave and I and our spouses went out there and got the free buffet and played a little bit and then came home. So that's been the event of my day for today. And here I am on the issues that I'm working on my next program. KD7DYM and address K7HYD.
7HYD, country, and to any other veterans that are working on the message for your myself, I did not go into the military out of college. Ended up starting a family instead. I was exempted from the draft, but my only endeavor with military was compulsory ROTC in college that I had to take. So that was a thing that was going on in the 60s. So let's move up to the top of the list again. Go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. This is James, WW7ATS. Gary, can you go ahead and turn on a signal again, since I don't have a signal, and I was not able to see you on live streaming. And I was able to see Dave, so I don't know why that is. Dave, do you have any comment on that?
We had an issue last net, and it was based on if the transmitter was turned on hard or not. This is Bob had a problem. He showed up on the streaming, but he didn't show up on the air. But once that was toggled on, his image showed up. So it's really not wired to work that way, but that was the experience we had last night.
Well, do you see Gary's picture right now on the 1.2 downlink?
I'm not keyed.
And even I can figure out what's there. Okay.
It's on now.
I'm receiving a copy as line 110.
Okay, 701, let me get refresh.
It's on there, James. I can see it here.
Aren't we the one with the fast internet?
Sounds like Jim down in Rochester. I guess he has an awful time with the streaming down there.
Google Chrome.
There's my mugshot. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I found on this particular machine I've got to have Google Chrome. My Internet Explorer will not work. Well, anyway, we're starting to hear, Gary, that both of the coins have been given away by the time you wipe that up there. Bad break on that. But I'm glad you were able to spend plenty of money and support the economy up there.
That wasn't the plan, but that's the way it worked.
I guess I just don't have much to add for this round. Let me pass it back to Ned, and I'll go ahead and refresh my browser again and look for your signal, Gary.
Well, I'm on key now.
Okay, thanks for that, James. WW7ATS. Time to ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, 87BYM. Somebody else has to check into the net. Hearing none, let's go to Jim, M720.
M7QO. Thanks, Dave. Well, the router that I need is just something that has a little more range than the one that I've got now. The Wi-Fi here will work through most of the house, but not all of the house, and it won't work when I'm out in the shack. And I could use my cell phone as a hotspot, but unfortunately, even my cell phone doesn't work real well when I'm in the shack. So then I've tried connecting my cell phone to the Wi-Fi, which works fine in the house, but it doesn't work in the shack. So I think I need something with maybe something that looks like it's a spider, something that has maybe multiple antennae on it, something that has a little bit more range. That's all I'm thinking. I was originally planning to run an Ethernet cable from the house over there, but right now it might be more trouble than it's worth. I don't know. Things have gotten busy for me the last year or two in particular, and it's not quite over. I'm reset. I'm mainly acting as a chauffeur for my wife. She has a couple of problems, taking her to therapy for her foot and therapy for her shoulder, and I'm still having problems. And like today was church, but so I'm kind of occupied with things that I don't normally have to do. But we'll get there. 87ZYM and 7QO.
M7QO, this is 87BYM. I found something several years ago. It's called, and what it does is an antenna. It's a black box inside the pack of cigarettes, attaches with a USB cable to your laptop, and the antenna itself, 6 inches long, and an additional 14 inches long. So it can be anywhere from 5 to 10 meters at 150 megabits per second. That might be something you might consider. So other additions that you can do. This would replace the Wi-Fi built into your laptop, because it goes through the USB, and then there's a software addition that you add to your laptop. So that's what I've got to say from here. So let's go on to Gary, HYD.
Yeah, with the ID finished. W7DYM, K7HYB. I don't know how they work, but there are things like range extenders and stuff like that. And then a lot of the places, they use a wide shot there. Whoops. Wow. Get rid of some of the lights here. There we go. Okay. I guess range extenders, well, I lost my key. There it goes. Anyway, I'm getting in now, I think. But there are range extenders, I understand. I don't exactly know how they work. Maybe they're just repeaters and that sort of thing. But there are long range routers and stuff like that, Jim. That I know sometimes you can pick them up pretty cheap at the Goodwill store. People don't understand how they work, and they get rid of them. I don't know if you've ever run into those things there or not, Dave, when you drop it here. And so that's probably one answer. Jim's probably got something else that'll work down there for you. Get you in pretty cheap, so you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. A new router could cost you $100 or more, I guess. I don't know, I haven't bought this one. Here, I got some Frontier. I signed up for their internet service, and I've had it ever since. We just don't know what they run. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to chat about, let me drop it here. The other thing I wanted to chat about is I'm working on a project to turn this little dongle, this SDR dongle that I've got in, is designed for receiving terrestrial DVR signals in the European format. And but the software that comes with it deliberately blocks out the 400 to 450 megacycle range, actually 400 to 470 megacycle range. So it won't tune those channels. So what I've been trying to do is find some open source software, which VLC apparently is open source software that will work with that. The other issue is it doesn't work like analog. When I found out, you need to teach the dongle that there's a signal out there at that range so that it will receive it. So I've been communicating with Bob Kelly, and I understand he has some a dongle that will transmit in that range. I know he's talked about it in the past, so I'm going to investigate that idea. The thought would be to buy one of these $10 dongles and possibly apply it to the input of the repeater on Cougar. So allow for a DVR-T input capacity. So anyway, that's a thought that I have. Too bad I didn't have the ability to make the meeting last Saturday to discuss that. So back to you, Dave. KD7DYM, K7HYB.
K7HYB in regards to Jim N7QO with a router. I'm on fiber optics through CenturyLink. What happens is when the fiber optic comes in, it goes through a black box and looks very much like a modem. But, however, you have to have their router at the end of that line. They say that a standard router won't work. And when I signed up for fiber optics, you had an option of purchase one for $100, that was 2 years ago, or pay $10 a month. That's on the device. And I was seeing now being advertising at $150. So the fiber optics seem to have to go along with their interface in order to get to the use for Wi-Fi. That's about what I have to add from here. And Jim, instead of QO, I'd be more than happy to lend you this preamp Wi-Fi receiver, and you can try it on your computer and see if that makes a difference. Instead of increasing the router power, it'll just put an amplifier with your computer and allow it to have a little more sensitivity. So let's go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. This is James, WU7N. And I appreciate your information on CenturyLink fiber optics. I'm on CenturyLink DSL. So I've got two pieces of copper that come, it has two copper conductors that come into my house that my voice rides on, and until I spoke with you today, that voice quality has been superb. Now it's got a little buzz on it. I'll have to call in a ticket and get that fixed. Reset. But also, I have found that DSL, or I guess technically it's ADSL, has been highly reliable during power outages, because this phone, you know, POTS telephone wiring, so I think I'm getting power all the way from the central switch, or at least some point between the central switch and myself. So I've frequently lost all of my power, commercial power, and still been able to get to the internet via the CenturyLink DSL. But today too, I pretty much had to get their router, but then the Ethernet ports that come off that router, I can connect to other routers. So anyway, Jim, I know 7 things that can kind of help your situation, and I think Dave hit on one of them. The cheapest and easiest one is move the router that's broadcasting your Wi-Fi signal to different spots of the house. And this is lots of fun because I don't think there's any magic solution, although generally speaking, for example, I helped someone out and explain to them what I'm sure everybody listening right now knows, and that is if you put that router up in front of a nice big non-mylar window, it goes out to his workshop just fine. When he buries it in the middle of the house, the signal out at the workshop isn't so good anymore. I think what Dave's getting at is putting an amplifier on perhaps a virtual access point. You have a computer between the transmitting Wi-Fi point, the wireless access point, and the laptop. Another computer can be configured. Another thing you can do is purchase a repeater for that purpose. The other thing is there's numerous plans on the internet to build better antennas. So there's a couple more ideas. If you're interested, I'll rattle off a few more. This is James, WU7N, returning back to net.
Okay, James, thanks with that. Well, once you have fiber optics put in, CenturyLink cuts off your wired pair, then going to their modem device that comes in with the fiber optics, it splits off and then controls your telephone. So you're doing VoIP really realistically for your landline. So that's what's happening here. So let's move on down to Jim in 7QO.
In 7QO. Well, before I forget, yeah, I have CenturyLink for my telephone here at the house, and it's just a wired system. They have since come out with, I believe, a fiber optic provision for internet, but I instead use Comcast because they were the first ones here that happened to have that. And so what I actually have is some coaxial cable coming to the house, providing my Comcast service. And for the computer service, this coaxial cable plugs into a modem, which has a built-in router to transmit Wi-Fi. So I have it next to the computer so that I could tell whether or not it is providing an adequate signal source, just so that I could look at the lights rather than trying to guess why I don't have functional internet on the computer. It doesn't have a separate plug to connect an external antenna. Reset. So I've considered actually relocating this, but I think I prefer it by the computer, just so that I can tell what's going on with this thing. And every now and then it decides that it's not going to work. I don't know why. There have been a couple of occasions where I continue to get a television picture, but the internet just decided to take a break for a period of time. And also to support what both of you, or maybe all of you, have said, yeah, when we lose electricity around here, apparently there's a battery backup for some sort of amplifier or something. My Comcast cable is good for maybe 2.5 hours, and then it's all gone. Whereas my telephone service stays there all the time. So what I was planning to do, like I said, is run a separate Ethernet cable. This modem / router has 4 ports on it. I was just going to plug in a cable and run it out so that I'd hardwire the thing. But at this point in time, it's going to occupy more time of my life than I'm willing to dedicate. So that's why I was thinking about doing something about a router. Reset. And I've seen those little extensions where you plug it into your PC, and that I think I saw one even for like $15 or so somewhere. But that might work with my PC, but that won't make my cell phone work any better out there. So that's where I kind of got to thinking about a longer range router. But I've heard about the range extenders, and I've read some mixed reviews about them. It looks like they cost roughly half as much as a typical router, but I was thinking I'd just get something that I felt fairly certain would work, and then I'd have it until I die, unless it breaks, whichever comes first. But great things are going. I might break before it. Anyway, I would be interested in hearing just a couple of other ideas that you may have, Jim. I'd appreciate that. And back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Okay, Jim. Well, we're waiting for our president to make America great again, so, there's going to be some great tax advantages, so you'll be very wealthy here in a few months. So let's move up to James, WW7ATS.
Well, Dave, I maybe it's my imagination, but I detected just a note of perhaps disbelief, dare I say even cynicism in that last statement.
Bravo.
Well, anyway, on another geopolitical front that might interest people on the channel, I'll just throw it out there. I read a really good article on changes in the Middle East, written by the pseudonym Tyler Durden, which of course is not his real name. I'm not sure what his real name is, but he writes under that pseudonym at zerohedge.com. So anyone who's interested in peak oil or international economy or international politics, you might want to go out to zerohedge.com. And really good article there just at the top of the stack on what's going on in Saudi Arabia, which interestingly enough has just gotten no news coverage whatsoever here in the U.S. press, but is really kind of a big deal. And getting back to your request, Jim, let me just kind of go off the 7 things that are in my sort of toolkit for this kind of problem. I already said, move the router around if you can. The other thing is you can actually, I'm pretty sure even with Comcast, unless it's a very old modem, it probably has more than one Ethernet port on it. You can connect another Ethernet line, run that line up out to a window or something, and put either a computer that has a wireless modem built into it, or another router with a Wi-Fi transmitter in it. And as long as you make sure the two routers are set on different channels, that has solved a lot of problems. Reset. Of course, there's the famous Pringles can antenna, which you can probably use on your laptop if your laptop has a place for an external antenna. And that may be an Amazon dongle purchase to get to an external antenna. Let's see, another one is use power line networking, which I've used in high RF noise environments. That only works, of course, if there's no transformer between the 2 points. And the other thing with using power line as transmission for your data, you don't want to buy cheap Chinese stuff there. I've seen scary Chinese little power line modems that you don't want to use. You want to go quality, which probably means expense. Let's see, I went over better antenna. I'm trying to rack my brain here. What else? The other option, and this may sound crazy at first, but go shopping. Look and compare what Comcast will give you, what will CenturyLink give you, because I believe, as I recall, you're out in an airport. And this is something, ham radio operators, we are very frugal and we hate to throw away perfectly good equipment. But it could be that CenturyLink or another internet service provider can just give you a better deal. And when they do, ask them what kind of routers come with the deal. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that point. I think I've got your email address. I'll send you a little article here with some things, some ideas on it. The Pringles can antenna, if you want to hear more about that, I'll tell you more about it, but I think you probably already know about that one. So that's, you can't get any cheaper than that, but that is time, and you said you were short of time. So anyway, that's it for me, James WW7N. Back to you, Dave.
WW7N, good to hear from you. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7BYM. And if Jim does have fiber optics in his neighborhood, CenturyLink's got a new program they're running right now. You can get like 40 megabits for about $75 a month, and that is supposed to be for life, so they say in their ads. If you do that, I would advise to buy their modem for $150 instead of paying $10 a month rental on it. So there's no strings attached to it. You don't have to have your television coming in on the fiber optics, nor do you have to have a telephone tied in with this program. So that might be something to look into. And let's go to Gary, K7HYB, and I'm sure he's got some comments.
Yeah, KD7CYM, K7HYB. Oh boy. There's my key. Okay. I'm not receiving the live side very well tonight. It's pretty snowy, about a P1. I can't even read my own. I can't even read my own ID. Yeah, those are all really good ideas, James or Jim. The one I would opt for would be to use one of the Ethernet ports and another cable to another router. That would be and you can find routers all day at Goodwill. They got all kinds of them, and just transmit it on a different channel. Quite frankly, I wish I had the kind of service that you guys can get. I'm out here in the boondocks in rural Snohomish County, and I can't. I've got DirecTV for my television and the landline for my telephone and DSL. Not at all happy with that situation, but I don't have too many choices. I do have a cable company out here that has changed hands about 4 times in the last 5 years, so I'm a little hesitant to go on that route, although I have considered it. I kind of like to get rid of this dish out in my backyard. But Frontier is my telephone company, and they were saying they were going to, was my telephone company, and they said they were going to put in fiber optics out here. Well, that never happened. It stopped about 2 miles down the road from me. Let me drop it here. And so consequently, I'm out in the cold. Don't have too many choices. Don't have really too many choices. Anyway, so so to kind of amplify what I was talking about, I'm going to try and hook up with Bob, because I think he's got a digital transmitter that'll hook up to his laptop, and he can send me some video on 434, and I'll use that to teach my receive dongle that there's a channel out there on that frequency, and consequently, hopefully, you'll log it in, and be able to use it for receiving. It was just a thought. I thought I'd experiment with it a little bit and see what works. Let me drop it here. Okay, and see if that has any validity. It doesn't have very good bandwidth, so I'm not sure that it's going to be appropriate. I might have to go to another. There's a high def out there. I know Jim down in Rochester is talking about that company a couple of times. There's one on eBay right now for $49. They normally go for $169. And I thought about picking that up because it's worth that to happen. Allow it to tune to the 440 amateur band. And I think it also has the software allows it to tune up into the 1.2 gig range too. But I don't remember that. I have to do some more research on that. Anyway, so those are my thoughts this go around. Anybody got any questions? Hearing no response, a dead air, I will consider that to be the end of my input for this go around. And back to you, Dave. K7CYM, K7HYB.
All right, K7HYB, K7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television. Well, I've got to say, the repeater at 1.2 actually spitting out some pretty good images this evening. I see mine at got about a P4 plus, and Gary had almost a P4, but I'd say it's a P3 plus actually coming in. I could see a little color on his image on his face camera there. So let's move up to WW7ATS. Okay.
Thank you, Dave. And yeah, I was going to comment on Gary's picture too. Once I got the right browser up and got it loaded, I do have to say though that you've got the lettering down, so it absolutely comes through clearly and says exactly what you intended, which isn't nearly as much fun as what you've had in the past. So anyway, I want to say, Dave, thank you. You've inspired me. I think I need to go shopping. I think the last time I tested the internet test speed, I got about, about 18 and a half megabits per second on my download speed, but not even a full megabit per second on the upload speed. So if you're getting 40, I'm assuming that's the download side, that is very, very good. So I'll have to pull the chain on CenturyLink or whatever they're calling themselves this week, and see if they can offer me anything better for what I'm paying. I end up paying just over $100, and it's kind of interesting. They give you telephone service with all that stuff from the late 90s and early 2000s that nobody ever uses anymore. But rather, they give you really, really cheap internet, but then they charge you through the nose for all of those features. And I don't know if I'll ever use the anti-satellite ballistic missile option on the phone or not, but I'm sure it's buried in there somewhere on the keypad. Well, let's see, the Wi-Fi range extension, I think I beat that to death, but I've got a note to myself, Jim, to send you a little note here, just some ideas. And just to confirm, are you out in an airport?
Yes, I am.
Well, not always, but generally speaking, airports usually have good connectivity. I'm not quite sure why that is, but they always just seem to. So that's another thought, too. You may have multiple options you don't know about. So that's the thoughts I have on it. So let me turn it back to Net Control. Dave, this is WW7ATS.
WU7N. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for all the ideas. What I was actually thinking I would do is the last thing which Gary said is get a different router and plug it into my modem here. And of course I could reposition that router pretty much anywhere and keep the modem right here next to the computer. And if it came down to it, I could turn off the Wi-Fi feature built into the modem that I have here, just to get extra range. Good idea to check out some of these discount stores. I had not thought about that, but I think that's a really good idea. That's something that I should probably do. In fact, I have a couple of friends who are quite fond of going to some of these places and seeing what they could get. I don't know if they try to resell things, but I could put in an order for them and see what they could come up with. That's a great idea. Yeah, where I'm located here, reset. There's a bit of a ridge which runs to my west and to the north. It blocks my view of the TV towers in the Seattle area. So I used to receive, when television was still broadcasting in analog, I used to receive 2 of the 3 broadcast networks pretty darn well, and the third one I would get quite a bit of ghosting, but I would still see it. But when they switched to digital television, I get absolutely nothing out here, and that also prevented me from accessing our television repeater when we were over there at the schoolhouse. But anyway, I can get to Cougar with some difficulty. I'm looking through some trees, but anyway, just something that I'm working on. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Thanks for that, Jim. Yeah, HD is pretty much line of sight. I mean, really line of sight. Either you get it or you don't. We found out in commercial broadcasting, it takes 4 times more power at the transmitter site to get a digital signal out to the public than it did for analog. And let's go to Gary, K7, HYB.
K7ZYM and the group K7HYB. Okay, James. How about that? Can you get a good look at that?
Okay, I've got to wait about 8 seconds for it to come through here. Right now I'm seeing color bars.
Your 7 in K7HYB, the 7 could be brought back to white, and then your multi, the A is about a shade down from that too. And the A from WA apparently is being transmitted in a color, and that comes out a little lower on a grayscale. So better IDs come out with all white.
Yeah, I just wondered. James was complaining about my ID, so I thought I'd give him the other page there. I have to scroll through my memories on my video keyboard here to bring up the right one. I've kind of defaulted to the white one because for that very reason, Dave. What's your comment on that one, James?
I agree with Dave. I think all white letters is better, and the one you had on before earlier tonight was very crisp and very clear. What I was referring to was like your very first version ones of this, where you had some letters completely drop out, and it just made for some interesting reading. I think all white characters work the best, WU7ATS.
Yeah, well, the reason you didn't read some of the letters is because the ID on the white background had some different colors on it that didn't blend very well with the white and kind of consequently got washed out. That's why it kind of read. That's why it kind of read that way. Now I understand what you're talking about. I wasn't sure what going on there. There's a mugshot, and so anyway, yeah, I think I'll continue to investigate the possibilities on this project as far as a potential digital input for 434, digital 434 input for the repeater. Somehow or another, we'd have to figure out how to get it into the video stream, either through the laptop that's on site through the USB port and have it projected that way, or directly into the video stream through a converter or something like that. And by the way, Dave, what's Ron doing in Bellingham tonight?
He has a niece, a nephew that's celebrating a 1-year-old birthday. Well, I guess 1-year-old is celebrating his first birthday, put it that way.
Well, technically, no. It's his second birthday, if you really want to count it that way, but I guess I understand what you're saying. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. So, anyway, well, that's about all I've got tonight, and it's getting towards the top of the hour. I'm going to make this my 73s, and I'll keep you guys posted on my progress. Dave, good night to all of you, and I'll put my white screen ID on here when the net's over with. KD7ZYM in the group, K7HYB.
K7HYB, thank you, and your image again, you did have some color coming up on your mugshot. So, with the ending round starting up here, we'll go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. 73s, everybody. Jim, I did send you an article. I am not the author of that article, but I think it covers several of the ideas I talked about tonight. If you're so inclined, give me a ring. Really enjoyed the net tonight. Appreciate you guys chiming in, and hopefully the next time I'm available, I'll have a video signal. So 73s, WU7N.
WU7N. Also today when I was at the ACS meeting, Little Bob, as we referred to him, N7RVC, who used to be a fairly active member on our ATV group, is now moved to a location where he can't get a signal in, so he has liquidated his ATV equipment and going on to HF from his new location. So that's an update on that. So moving down the line again. on a final, as we might say, Jim, N7QO.
Thank you, Dave. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for all of the advice. Jim, I'll take a look at what you sent me there. Gary, wow, you're spending a lot of time on that dongle. Good luck with that. It's just sort of a time-consuming thing there, but oh well. I guess that's why they call it a hobby. I got a hobby. It's called a wife here. Anyway, thank you all for participating, and catch you next net, N7QO.
Thank you with that, Jim. And again, on the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net, give thanks to James, WU7N, and Jim, N7QO, and Gary, K7HYB, participating in this evening's net. And we'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 repeaters, the CTAC Repeater Group, for allowing us to use their facility for our voice transmissions on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So we'll be terminating the net now. This is Dave, KB7CYM. Good evening all, and thank you for your participation in 2055. Good evening all. KB7CYM clear.
KD7ZOM and the group K7HYB. I put up my alternate ID page there, and I wanted to make a comment to Jim on the last go-around. I'm sorry. Jim, I understand what you're going through. I got a lot longer path here. I got 24 elements out here on 440 with about 35 watts of radiated power, and you're seeing the kind of picture I'm putting in it. It really doesn't look too bad right now, but still no color. Not strong enough to pick up the color carrier. Anyway, good evening all, and yeah, I like it. Gives me something to do when I'm not working at my other job. I have a wife too to take care of, and we do plenty of things together. So we'll keep that up. Take care of yourself. Hope you get better. K7HYB.